Good morning, Paleo Tribe. This is Michelle Norris, the CEO and co-founder of Paleo Effects, and I'm here live with Diana Rodgers, and I'm coming to you from home in Austin, Texas. So I apologize if we have, little noises that come up here in a little bit. Could happen. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. I'm with Diana Rodgers. I'm really excited to tell y'all what she's been up to and what we are doing this morning. She has been crowd sourcing for her documentary, Kale versus Cow. And we donated some goodies to her crowdsourcing benefits and bonuses, or I'm not sure what you call it, perks. So we're really excited to support her in this. And obviously, we're very serious about sustainability. We bring that to Paleo Effects every year. And we're just really excited to hear more about what's going on with this endeavor. So, I know this, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to know this. How long has this idea been percolating for you?
Oh, Michelle, it has been something that I've been wanting to get out of my system for so long, in so many different forms. And so it really all came together this summer when What the Health came out. And I just realized, okay, this has got to stop. Meat does not cause diabetes. And we need to do something about this. We need to have a film that really defends meat from, I think, the three biggest attacks that it has. And specifically, we're saying cow because beef is really the most attacked as far as nutrition, the environment, and ethics, right? Like, why kill an animal if we could just grow meat in a lab? And so I decided to talk to a bunch of different directors that actually I had spoken with in the past when back in 2014 when I wanted to do this. But the person I settled on, her family actually started Maple Hill Creamery. So her name's Minna Joseph and her brother.
Milk yesterday.
Oh, it's the best milk, the best yogurt. It's 100% organic and grass-fed. So really just amazing company, and they're really revitalizing the whole dairy industry in the Hudson River Valley. So like huge kudos to them because it's so beyond just organic dairy. Mm-hmm. But anyhow, enough of an ad for them. Minna is, splits her time between New York and her family's dairy operation. And she is a storyteller, and not a lot of people can do a documentary well. A lot of them out there are just sort of spewing facts, and those are easily cherry picked and refuted, right? Like, I can pull a number from the USDA on meat consumption. Whether you're looking at adjusted for loss or meat availability, those are two very different numbers, and so. Instead of a really heavy sort of talking heads documentary with a lot of factoids, what really sways people, especially in film, is hitting them in the gut with emotion. And so we're going to be focusing on telling stories and really trying to shift people's worldview to get them to understand the importance of why is sustainability so critical? Why is it horrible when meat is vilified? Why should we even care about this? From a policy level, the vegetarian agenda is now, making its way into public school systems. There's 3 schools in Brooklyn now that are vegetarian, and the goal is to make them vegan. For a lot of kids, this is the only meal they get all day. So this is something, I think once you've sort of healed yourself with a paleo, keto, real food type diet, it's time to really then look at, helping out and defending meat, even just for the general consumer out there. So, so clearly factory farming is not good. We both agree on that. I think we can all, agree even with the vegans on that one. And I even have vegans in the film who, for whatever personal reasons, they're not eating meat, but at least they're in the fight for better meat for other people, for better animal treatment on farms, They recognize the environmental benefit of having animals in a healthy ecosystem, because all healthy ecosystems have animals and plants. That's just how an ecosystem works. The more diversity, the better. And yeah, so we're going to be focusing on really just telling the story of why meat is okay to eat.
You know, this is the thing, I couldn't agree with you more. We actually have a lot more in common with vegans and vegetarians than we don't. When it comes to the, you know, animal husbandry, treating them humanely, and also believing that no animals should live in confined animal feeding operations. It's just not, it's not something that we refer to that as CAFO. So if we refer to that, if you aren't familiar with that term, that's something that we're heavily against. And so, you know, and the thing is that you tell the story of how this is sustainable. The CAFOs don't have to exist for us to feed all the humans on the planet. What made you decide to take the plunge now and start trying to figure out how to make this happen?
Yeah, so about 10 years ago, I really transformed my health with a book called The Paleo Solution. I read it. I thought it was nuts, but I decided to follow it, and it really changed my life. I went from like black and white to color, from completely food addicted to liberated, and could, you know, make it from breakfast to lunch without a snack, could go longer and not, you know, have sweats and tunnel vision in between my meals, which was just amazing. And so I decided to change my career and become a registered dietitian and help other people. So I've been maintaining my private practice all through this, and I still work with people one-on-one, mostly with GI issues and metabolic issues. And you know, for the last 15 years, as you know, you've been to my farm, I've been living on an working organic farm where we do a vegetable CSA and pasture-raised meats. So I completely, you know, adore vegetables. I eat them myself. And, but we also do a regenerative meat program where we rotate the animals on pasture. I've worked a lot with the Savory Institute. I'm on the board of Animal Welfare Approved. So this project, I feel like I'm the perfect person to do it, because I really understand the nutrition story, the sustainability story, and I've thought a lot about the ethics of it too. And I've talked to a lot of people about the ethics of it. I've talked to Leah Keith. She's going to be involved in the program. Joel Salatin, Will Harris. You know, everybody has a different take on sort of that ethical issue, but really you can't have a healthy system without animals in it. And so why now? We're fundraising now for the film because there's a couple of important stories that are going to be unraveling that we'd like to shoot very soon, and we're just trying to get going, basically. So we actually had a very successful start to our campaign. We blew away our initial goal, which was so humbling for me, because I was so nervous those first couple of days when I saw the donations trickling in. I was worried, you know, maybe this is a bad idea and I'm the only one who cares about this. So I'm so happy to report that in a month we blew away our initial ask by over $10,000. And so now we've upped our goal from $75,000 to $150,000. That extra money will allow us to get into production. The major costs with filmmaking are travel costs to get to all the, you know, locations that we want to shoot, and then all the editing in the back of it. So so this next goal will really help us just move more forward in this project. And the more quickly we raise the money, the more quickly we can get this film out there. So,
well, yeah. And then once you have the film complete, what is it that you're looking to accomplish with the film?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're not going to be advocating for any specific dietary philosophy, even though I have written a couple of paleo cookbooks, and I personally follow a paleo, keto, real food type template. The main goal nutritionally of the film is just to defend meat eating. For example, I live in a pretty, you know, educated town outside of Boston. Almost nobody out here eats red meat. They're all eating chicken and fish and, you know, low fat, lots of whole grains. And, you know, that's just so sad, especially when we've got this beautiful farm right here, but they're showing what the health and cowspiracy at our high school. Yeah. And there's no films out there right now that show the other side. So, you know, again, clearly factory farming is wrong, but meat does not cause diabetes. That's not the problem here. The problem is hyperpalatable processed foods. Right. And so we need to get that message out there. And I just don't want, I want to cast as broad of a net as possible as far as the dietary philosophy goes. I want to really show how cattle, in particular ruminants and cattle, can help sequester carbon and are one of our best chances at fighting climate change. Instead of, you know, all the bad press they're getting, I want to explain things like the water use, methane, carbon, land use, which is huge. You can't just crop everything. So when people are saying cows take up so much land when you could just be growing soy or wheat, that's not really true, because you can't grow soy and wheat in a lot of places that you can really do very well raising animals. So if you think of, you know, really brittle environments, really, you know, cold environments, think of like how Mongolians live, right? The reason that they're herders is because they can't be croppers. They're just, nothing grows around there, and access to water is not that great in a lot of places. I mean, look at most of California. We've got a huge water issue there. People in towns have no drinking water, but yet companies are allowed to, you know, flood irrigate their almond groves. And should we really be growing almonds for export in places where we have not enough water for people to drink? So just because something is a plant does not mean that it's causing less harm than, you know, a cow eating grass. And think of how many people that can feed. So your typical cow is, you know, almost 500 pounds of edible meat. That's a lot of really nutrient dense food. It's our best source of iron and B12. Iron deficiency anemia is the #1 nutrient deficiency worldwide, and we're just not going to get there with more soy and more lettuce.
Right, agreed. So let me ask you a question. Are you going to be touching on the fact that, like, crops like soy and wheat, even in areas where it can grow, that they're actually very detrimental to the soil and very detrimental to the environment itself, in the way that it depletes everything, but it's also, it's just really harsh.
Yeah, so there's nothing good about monocropping at all. When you fly over the country and you look down and you see these, you know, big squares, that's what humans have done to, you know, what should be mostly grasslands, honestly. We are losing topsoil. This is all because of industrial scale agriculture with, you know, chemical inputs, and it just, we can't continue this way. And so a lot of people are saying, you know, well, how can you feed the world this way? We're not going in a good direction right now with our current food system. We waste a lot of food. People are overfed but undernourished. And if we just look back at, you know, working with nature instead of against it, stop it with the lab meats and all these sort of fake processes that, you know, actually take a lot more resources than provide healthy outputs, and look more at regenerative agriculture that improves the soil and, you know, uses cows directly to capture, you know, the results of solar energy. So, you know, grass grows from photosynthesis. Cows can eat that and transform grass that we can't eat on land we can't crop into nutrient dense, perfect food for humans.
You know, one of the things that I find interesting, you said you work with the Savory Institute. One of the best TED Talks that I think I've seen is Alan Savory and the desertification. And will you be going into some of that? And I mean, it just is amazing what can happen to, you know, a destroyed meadow when you actually start putting animals back into that scenario, and it kind of fixes itself. It's really super interesting. Will you be doing some of that?
Yes, definitely we will be. So we'll be looking at a lot of different models of, you know, better cattle management. So holistic management is one angle. Just like we're not going to be promoting, you know, paleo or keto, we're not going to be, you know, necessarily saying that holistic management is the only way. But certainly, you know, how Joel Salatin does it with his mob grazing, you know, basically the idea of intensive grazing of animals and then moving them to allow the land to rest is what we want to strive for. And actually just got off the phone with one of the instructors from the Savory Institute. They're doing some really cool stuff with measuring soil carbon and hoping to work that into the film as well. So next week I'm having a powwow with my director. Now that we actually have money that we can work with, we've have, you know, endless storylines and characters available to us, and we really are trying to hone that down to a select few so that we can really get people engaged. You know, when you see a documentary with tons of different people kind of, you know, all over the place, it can be a little exhausting for the viewer. So we're really looking to, you know, say, okay, what are the main points we're trying to get across? And then how can we do that with the least amount of people, actually, so that it's an emotionally compelling documentary that's really, you know, something that's going to help sway people's worldview.
Well, I know that you've been like dreaming about this for a long time. So I can only imagine that at night you dream about what this is going to actually look like whenever it gets out onto film. I mean, I know that I do the same thing with Paleo FX. I'm like, okay, what's this going to look like? And how's that? So what is that like for you?
Well, this film has been my full-time obsession ever since I decided I was going to tackle it. So since last August, you know, I do have 2 children, live on a busy farm, and, you know, although I'm not an employee, I still get, you know, roped into having to get the sheep that are on the road. You know, police have my cell phone on speed dial for when the sheep get loose. You know, my life is definitely pretty busy. I'm working a lot with Whole30 these days, and but this film, I mean, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't do anything differently, except for I'd be able to get this done faster. This is really, it's my dream job to be able to help people one-on-one to help save their health, because everyone who does what I tell them to do sees amazing results. And, you know, and now to get this message out to a broader audience, hopefully they'll show this in schools as a counter to these sort of fake science. I mean, I can't even believe the FDA allows films like Cowspiracy to be out there because it's just so full of lies. I'm really eager to tell the other side of the story, the real food story, the environmental story, the ethical story of why, you know, humans are actually part of the food system. We're not, you know, at the top of it. We don't control nature. We need to learn how to be part of nature and humble our species a little bit so that we stop destroying everything.
Agreed. So will you be speaking more about this at Paleo FX 2018?
I told you. I sent you a submission, so you better say yes. I'm really excited to come to Paleo FX. You guys have been so great every year. And, you know, it's been so fun for me with the progression of Paleo FX because I've been to every single conference now. You know, I used to be in a room with like 4 people, and thank you for giving me a room for even my 4 people that would come. But every year it's gotten more and more popular. Last year the room was really full. People are, you know, really starting to care about this, and I think a lot of it has to do with your energy behind it. I've gotten a voice through Paleo magazine. You know, they've let me write articles. And, you know, I think people really are starting to care about this more than just me and, you know, maybe Rob Wolf. So I'm really, you know, I'm really honored that I've had almost 800 people donate already to the campaign. It's been amazing.
That is awesome. Now, we are honored to have you be part of the Paleo FX family and to come to Paleo FX. We obviously care about this a great deal. And I think when people start understanding how important it is to their families and to the generations that come, that they start understanding they have to act, they have to do something. And so I'm going to ask you all now to act and to do something, and that is to support what Diana Rodgers is doing with Kale versus Cow. This is for all of us. This is for not just for the people that are paleo, not for the people that are keto, not for the people that are, you know, just the real foods. This is vegans, vegetarians, everybody that really has, they all need to understand what this does for the environment, for the world, and what the impact is. And so I'm going to ask you, she's going to give you the information of where you can go so you can find out more about what she's doing and donate for this. And I know you have lots of really cool perks because we gave away some perks. And so go ahead and tell them how they can get to your information.
Yeah, so your perks flew out, I think, the day you offered them, which was really great. The website is sustainabledish.com/film. And that will take you directly to our crowdsourcing page. And some of the perks we have on there now, we've got some lamb, we've got some grass-fed beef, we've got 5 years to Thrive Market, which is fantastic for new members. You know, they can have an Ask Me Anything with me, Diana, and learn more about the film. We've got a great video endorsement there from Joel Salatin, who has been a longtime supporter of mine. I've been to his farm many times. We had dinner there together once. Yeah. So they can learn more about who's potential characters. They can see a video of me on my farm talking more about the film, where I was super stressed out to be on video that day. So I will personally not be featured in the film. I'm looking to feature other producers and nutrition experts, and I'm happy to be on the other side of the camera for the actual production. Yeah, so thank you so much for having me on and helping me get the word out. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And if you want to hear more about this, you're going to be doing another Facebook Live tomorrow, correct?
Oh, thank you. You're such a better marketer than me. Yes. So tomorrow I'll be doing a Facebook Live with Epic, and we're going to be doing a matching. So they are going to match dollar for dollar every donation that comes in all day tomorrow up to $5,000. So, you know, your donation really can go that extra mile tomorrow. Thanks to Epic. I've had some other really great, yesterday I did a Facebook Live with Butcher Box. They've been huge supporters, and I'm about to announce another really large Better Meat company that I'll be working with that's investing a nice sum of money to really help us get out there too. So maybe next week.
That is awesome. Yeah. I can't hear about that. But you can also hear more about what Diana is doing at Paleo FX 2018. We are so excited that she's going to be coming back. So you definitely want to get your tickets for that when the next ticket sprint opens up, which I believe is in a couple of weeks. But we are just so honored to be able to help you with this and to be involved, and just so grateful to the work that you do, Diana, and for all of us, because it is for everyone. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for being here, and make sure that you go and you support Kale versus Cow, her new documentary, Diana Rodgers, and it's at sustainabledish.com/film. And you can get to that information and see what she's doing and donate. Y'all have a wonderful day, and we will see you again soon.
Okay, stay warm.